Welcome back to Longwood University. We are live from the spin room here, and joining us now is Rev Jesse Jackson, of course, a Clinton supporter. All right, it's pretty much a consensus that it was not a good night for Tim Kaine. How does he recover from this?
It was a very good night for Tim Kaine. He was the most prepared. He came to defend his leader, Hillary Clinton.
We just did a focus group, Reverend, and there was only one person in that entire focus group who said that they are behind Tim Kaine, that thought he did a good job tonight.
We're saying the same thing. I thought Tim Kaine did a very good job. He was prepared, and he defended Hillary Clinton every time he would put a charge out on Donald Trump. Pence would not defend his guy. He said you're investing in China and Russia. He would not defend it. That you willing to destabilize Europe and NATO. He would not defend it. That you call Mexican thugs and gangsters. He would not defend it. Relative to the president, the birther movement, you were not contrite. So he kept throwing out these charges.
But a lot of the criticism of him was that he interrupted a great deal tonight, and it came off as sort of being a bit rude. That was the thing that we heard over and over again in the live focus group that we did just now. They said he came off a bit rude.
Well, that was style, but on substance, he kept asking, why won't Trump pay his taxes? And he would not answer it, and the person guiding the conversation would ask one question, they would answer another. And I think if she had maintained control of the process, the question would not, so he would ask it again himself. So I think that was the debate got out of hand to that extent.
Reverend, one of the most interesting questions that I thought that was asked about relations in this country between African Americans and whites in this country was asked of both candidates about Senator Tim Scott, a Republican senator who has said that he's been stopped many, many times by police officers. Mike Pence was asked to react to that, as was Tim Kaine. Have you ever spoken to Senator Scott, even though he's a Republican, about his experiences with police officers?
I have not, but that's a common experience. And again, Kaine pushed that argument, and Pence offered no defense of Tim Scott. He had not discussed it with him. His was a kind of, because basically Trump's idea of urban policy is stop and frisk and law and order. Hillary's is investment and development, which is a more plausible answer. When you have in 8 areas in Chicago, unemployment is 25%, they need investment and development, not more policing, not more stopping, not more frisking. And so Kaine was ready to discuss that issue, and Mr. Pence chose to avoid it altogether.
But Donald Trump and Tim Kaine say, though, that in areas, and you've worked in Chicago for many, many years with families who are suffering through drugs, through gang violence, they're saying the law and order means that families will be able to walk their streets of their community safely. How do you respond to that?
That was the Nixon dog whistle, law and order, just as stop and frisk was a whistle out of New York, just as the race riots every month was a dog whistle today. The fact is, in those areas of Chicago, you have 8 areas with unemployment 25%. Guns in, drugs in, jobs out. And 80,000 vacant homes, abandoned lots. There is no urban policy for reconstruction. If there were a commitment, for example, just to remove the lead jobs, to cut down the high weeds, landscapers jobs, to remove the houses, the demolition, those that cannot be sustained, or to rebuild those where you have boards and need window panes. There's no urban policy. And policing poverty is not something the police do very well. They're policing poverty and desperation. That needs to be a plan. All they have to do is dust off the Kerner report, look at what happens when you ignore one side of town and try to have two cities on the different sides of the same tent.
We know that Hillary Clinton polls very well with people of color. Voters really support her in the African American, Asian, Hispanic community. But when people talk about the economy, how does she win those people over who are not in her camp?
Well, by putting forth more growth. You know, when President Barack Obama came in, we lost 800,000 jobs that month. The net gain of jobs every month since, it seemed that is a proper trajectory. Also, 20 million Americans have insurance who did not have it, many of whom were poor. And more would have had that had not the South, in fact, cut off the flow of affordable health care money. And so if she expands that trajectory, you'll have more health care and more jobs and more economic growth.
What did you make of Bill Clinton's comments sort of criticizing Obamacare?
Well, it has to be modified. It's clear that some insurance companies do not find a comfort zone with it, but it cannot be insurance company driven. It must be people driven. And that's the tension. Should it be modified. To what extent should it be single payer? That debate rages on, but at least President Obama has gotten it off a dead center.
Reverend, before we let you go, I got to ask you real quickly, you remember your time running for president with fond memories?
I do have fond memories. I think maybe two things happened. One, after it was over, I saw President Obama one day, and we were downtown. He said, I saw the debate with Hart and Mondale. I was a student in Columbia, and I said to myself, this can happen.
Because of you?
And that excited me because the idea that we try to plant seeds that may grow trees on whose shade you would never sit. I sat on the tree and watched this tree blossom to a magnificent president. On the other hand, just to travel around the country and meet so many people from Iowa to New Hampshire to Mississippi to New York, just to grow with the country was a great gratifying experience. This has been a great year for me because this is my 50th year of working with Dr. King in 1966, and my birthday will be Saturday.
Happy birthday, Reverend.
75.
75.
Don't even look it.
Wow.
Don't even look
75, 50, so it's a big deal.
Thank you so much for stopping by to talk to us, Reverend. It's really an honor. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.